As promised in the last video, I want to go through all 25 of the children's stories. I suggest that what we do is talk about 8 briefly for the next 3 videos, and then perhaps on the last one I'll do 9 and we'll cover all 25. In the last video I talked about Peg the Seagull with one leg, which is an episodic story over 5 nights, which is graded 1. And it's about, it starts off saying Peg lost her leg, but we can't tell you the end of that story until another night. And each night says, we know you want to know why Peg lost her leg, but that's for another night, and that's for another night, to keep the child engaged in knowing that eventually they would find out why Peg lost her leg. And it could seem a bit horrific to be talking about a major accident, but at the end it's all about talking about being kind to animals and how to help animals that are hurt, and that sometimes in life not only animals but also humans have accidents. Cranky Duck. How did Cranky Duck come about? My grandson said, I've come up for a good idea for a story, Grandpa. Cranky Duck. So I sat down and over the next hour and a half and immediately wrote the story and sent it back to my daughter to read my grandson, who was quite small at the time. And Cranky Duck is effectively a duck that is raised amongst chickens and cannot quack. And it's about Cranky Duck having a very ostracised life and not being a very happy duck until events happen where, quite by mistake, he learns to do something very close to a quack and is accepted back into the duck family. So that also is a very low graded reading story, good night story, not very long. Looking at my notes here, Mick the Mouse is also an episodic set of stories. It's about Mick the Mouse wanting to be a condor and getting into all sorts of troubles, being something that he doesn't want to. Working on the principle, you better not, be careful what you pray for, you might get it. It's all about his lifestyle, where his family lives, family relationships, obeying parents, getting into trouble with a cat. There's some humorous parts as the cat is spitting out the last few hairs of Mick the Mouse's tail when he nearly gets caught. There's some moral towards overeating and becoming obese. So there's all sorts of levels working in Mick the Mouse. We talked on the last video about Hermie the Crab needing to go through change and his shell becoming too big and getting stuck and having to do the jump. It's one of, I believe, the better children's stories. If you're going to have a look at the free graded reading stories for children on gradedreading.com, I'd start with Hermie the Crab. It's my favourite. Bert the Beetle. Bert the Beetle decides to go to sleep in the old bird's nest because it's the most beautiful, comfortable place to sleep, but it's in the gutter. And while he's fast asleep, the rainstorm comes and washes him down the gutter into the water tank, and all what goes on and his arduous journey back up. And it's about him then telling his children about the experience that he went through so that they wouldn't have to learn the same mistake, that it was dangerous to sleep in the guttering. That's how that particular one goes. The next one on the list, I'll just step off camera because I've got not too good eyes. It's The Little Flower Girl. Now, The Little Flower Girl is a true story about a child in the third world who grows flowers and takes them off to the market and gets into troubles with people where she's putting them all on the side of the road to sell them, and about her adventure on the day of selling all her flowers, why she did it. It's all about to teach young people that there are others that are far less fortunate than themselves, and because it's a true story, it goes on then to tell what happened to that particular girl when she grew up to be a woman of some note. Then the next one is about the ant, and it's about ant colonies get to a size where they need to divide, and it talks about the queen ant and about the fact that ant colonies run on a system of a kingdom, and loyalties to the queen in this particular case, and this particular ant is given the job of searching out where to take the half of the colony that's going to be divided, and he takes a sycamore ride across the river. He has to engage with other animals' help to get high enough in the tree to launch himself, to make his spinning journey and the adventure of that, and then he becomes then, by decree of the queen, the king of the new colony. So there's all sorts of levels of morals being talked about in that story. And of course, last video we talked about Jimmy is a big boy now, thinking more highly of himself than he ought to think, being the moral that we are teaching about, obedience to parents, timekeeping, all of those sorts of facets come into that exciting story. And we've had tremendous feedback from the story Jimmy is a big boy now. So that's the first 8 out of 25 that are on gradedreading.com. For the adults reading, we'd like you to specifically listen to an audio sampler. You might even like to, with older children in your family, listen to the audio sampler of Dream Bouncing, because it's narrated by a beautiful narrator, my friend Aileen, who's got a Scottish accent, and it brings the fabulous writing of my co-writer Jenny Sweeney to the fore, and it gives you the chance to know that this is a book worth downloading. That particular book is $3.99, or as I often say on my videos, it's worth the price of a cup of coffee to be entertained between 8 to 10 hours at 79,000 words, and we're getting very good reviews and downloads of that particular book. So go and look at gradedreading.com, graded reading all one word. It's a second English language resource for overseas students. There's free material there, and there is also my books there. It's where we try and engage my readership. So go and have a look at gradedreading.com, and I will come up with the next video on the next 8 children's stories. It's self-reviewing, which is a bit self-effacing. It's somebody said that self-recommendation is no recommendation at all, but I'm wanting you guys out there to know about how to do ebooks, how to do ebook platforms, how to get out of obscurity as a writer, and all I can do is tell you what I've done, show you on site what I've done, that some of you guys who are wanting to break out of ebook obscurity and get some recognition can follow the track that I've taken, which is different than going on the ebook platforms. So till the next 8 stories, which is coming soon, this is cheers from Ronald Sharp and Graded Reading.